Gavin Newsom introduces a law that destroys Trump's thugs. Let's see how many of them will have the balls to keep doing what they've been doing to innocent people. And before you start your screaming, they're not innocent. Innocent until proven guilty, you moron. And the first step towards that is, let's take a guess, due process. You know, the very thing that's been taken away from innocent people. But first, Donald Trump has just had his most pathetic meltdown yet, and it's glorious. Gavin Newsom posted a sarcastic tweet about Trump's ridiculous UFC on the White House lawn fantasy. And Trump's regime completely lost their mind so hard they called the Secret Service on the governor of California. Yes, you heard that right. Trump's own U.S. attorney in Los Angeles literally contacted federal law enforcement because a governor made fun of their circus act. This is peak fragile authoritarian behaviour. While Americans are struggling to afford groceries and watching their healthcare get gutted, Trump's priorities are golden fight clubs and revenge fantasies. But when Newsom calls out this insanity and announces new laws to unmask ICE agents conducting immigration raids, suddenly the MAGA snowflakes need Secret Service protection from mean tweets. Here's what really triggered them. Newsom didn't just mock Trump's priorities. He backed it up with actual legislation to protect civil liberties and force federal law enforcement to show their faces. No more masked DOJ agents terrorizing kids at schools or patients at hospitals. And Trump's response? He went crying to the feds like a scared little child. But believe it or not, it gets worse. While they're censoring Pentagon reporters and hiding inflation data to cover up their crashing economy, they want you to believe a sarcastic tweet is a national security threat. The hypocrisy is staggering. You're about to hear Newsom speak in Los Angeles, and this is one of the most powerful takedowns of Trump's authoritarian playbook I've ever heard. He's talking about pluralism, a word Trump literally cannot pronounce, and how California's diversity is exactly what terrifies these fascists. Pay close attention when he mentions masked men showing up at civic events with no identification. That's not law enforcement, that's secret police tactics. And the fact that they're doing this while whining about mean tweets shows you exactly who the real snowflakes are.
But let me first try to set a scene. It's one very familiar to many of you, but not necessarily to some folks that may be watching from other parts of the country. We're here in Los Angeles, the most diverse city in the most diverse state, California, in the world's most diverse democracy. It is a point of pride. We are a majority-minority state, California. At our best, we don't tolerate that diversity. At our best, we celebrate that diversity. We're a universal state. 27% of Californians are foreign-born. You heard the superintendent talk about all of the mixed status families. Our status is unique in the United States of America. It's what makes California great. It's what makes America great. And it's under assault by this administration. There's a word that you've never heard uttered from the President of the United States' lips, certainly not Stephen Miller, and that's pluralism. We practice pluralism. It's a deep point of pride. Those values are under assault to a degree we could have never imagined. For those of you here in Los Angeles, you deeply absorb this, you deeply understand this. You saw your streets militarized. You saw the President of the United States, who in his first term never sent the military anywhere, not overseas, nowhere. In his second term, he sent the United States Marines, active duty Marines, to the city of Los Angeles. He federalized 4,000 of our National Guard. We said at the time it was a preview of things to come. Folks thought that was hyperbolic. They thought we were overstating it. Ask the folks in Washington, D.C. Ask the folks other states like Illinois and what's about to happen in Memphis. We announced just a few weeks ago that we were standing up and pushing back as it relates to the rigging of elections. We were at the Democracy Center in Little Tokyo, the sacred site where we were interning and busing the Japanese. That shameful part of our past. And what did the administration do? What did Stephen Miller do? What did Donald Trump do? They sent masked men to intimidate folks from walking in to that event. Masked men. Poor soul that happened to be in the area, delivery guy delivering strawberries, was detained because he just happened to be in the area. Collateral damage. Disappeared. These masked men had no identification. These masked men did not provide any information, name, badge number, hidden from accountability, any transparency, any oversight. That's Trump's America, but it is not the America we've grown up in.
Now, that's what actual leadership looks like. Calling out authoritarianism while the DOJ is busy playing mommy for Trump's little hurt feelings. But Newsom didn't stop at speeches. He signed legislation that directly challenges Trump's Gestapo tactics. Here's what's in the new laws. ICE agents can't hide behind masks anymore. Federal officers have to display their agency and badge numbers. Schools and hospitals get protection from immigration enforcement intimidation. Basic constitutional rights that apparently needed to be spelled out for these wannabe fascists. Watch this next, where he breaks down exactly why this matters and why Trump's Secret Service tantrum proves they know they're in the wrong.
Impact of these policies all across this city, our state and nation are terrifying. It's like a dystopian sci-fi movie. Unmarked cars, people en masse, people quite literally disappearing, no due process, no rights in a democracy where we have rights. Immigrants have rights. And we have the right to stand up and push back. And that's what we're doing here today. This is a disgrace. This is an outrage, what we have allowed to happen in this country. And I could not be more proud of this legislature, the legislative authors, to the community demanding more from all of us at this moment to push back. I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. To ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If you're going to go out and you're going to do enforcement, provide an ID. Tell us which agency you represent. Provide us basic information that all local law enforcement is required to provide. Have the decency not to threaten people as they go to school, to go out in the parking lots proximate to these schools to create chill, packed attendance. We talked to these kids. They were saying, one of you said, I've got friends, they don't go on the metro anymore. It's a public space. So your superintendent had the decency, foresight, and leadership to provide transportation. That's Trump's America. Hospitals. You talk about health infrastructure. You talk about community health. People scared to death to even access a community clinic for preventative medicine, worried that somehow they're going to be turned in, or someone without identification, looking like anyone else with a mask on, may just jump out of a car and they may disappear. So I want to thank the legislative leaders for asserting themselves and providing me the privilege, the ability to sign these laws, pushing back at this moment. I thought Jon Stewart said it best. This is not about the pronoun police. This is about the secret police. We're not North Korea, Mr. President. We're not the Soviet Union. This is the United States of America. And I'm really proud of the state of California and our state of mind that we're pushing back against these authoritarian tendencies and actions of this administration. ICE is now the largest private police force in the United States of America. And I say private because increasingly it appears to many of us that they have sworn an oath to Donald Trump, not the Constitution. A private police force whose ranks are going to grow by some 10,000, dwarfing the FBI and DEA. Only comparable staffing and investments are military operations around the globe. That's what Congress, the supine leadership in Congress, provided, along with the supine members of the Supreme Court that have allowed racial profiling on the basis of accent, basis of location, and skin color. This is not America. And so we are pushing back firmly. We're pushing back using not just our formal authority, but perhaps the most important authority, and that's our moral authority. So thank you to the members of the legislature. Thank you to the authors of these bills. And it is my honor now to sign into law 4 pieces of legislation that go in effect immediately upon signature, and 1 on the masking that will formally go into effect in January of 2026.
This is the difference between governing and grifting. While Trump's U.S. attorney is wasting Secret Service resources on mean tweet investigations, Newsom just passed laws that actually protect people. While Trump is censoring reporters and hiding economic data, California is demanding transparency from federal law enforcement. The stakes couldn't be clearer. Civil liberties versus secret police. Democracy versus authoritarian cosplay. Accountability versus masked intimidation. Trump thought he could terrorize California with unmasked agents and shadow operations, but Newsom just made that illegal. Now here's the beautiful irony. They called the Secret Service because they're terrified of actual oversight. They can dish out immigration raids on families, but they can't handle a governor with a sense of humour and a functioning state legislature. Every state should copy this blueprint, force them to show their faces, make them follow the Constitution, stop letting them hide behind masks, while at the same time crying about civil liberties being under attack. The only thing under attack here is their ability to operate like a criminal enterprise. Trump didn't just lose this round, he exposed himself as the weakest president in history. Getting your DOJ to call the Secret Service because a governor hurt your feelings is not strength. It's the most pathetic abuse of power imaginable. And California just proved that real leaders fight back with laws, not childish tantrums. If you want to see more stories like this, click on one of these videos, and please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. It helps with the algorithm. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.